A long time ago, I raised a son to know his Lee from his Lassiter.
Now we're turning our arguments into content. This is I Am Your Father, where Gen X meets Gen Z in hyperspace.
I am Graham.
And I am Braden. How we doing?
We're good. We're we're doing the first of a couple mini episodes right now. So for those of you who can't get enough of I Am Your Father, the podcast, this week and next, you will for surely not be able to get enough.
Definitely
because
not.
We're not going to give you enough.
Who knows how long we're actually going to talk about these topics? So maybe it won't be too short. We can talk.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but basically, we're recording a whole bunch of episodes back to back in order to kind of make sure that we don't miss out on providing you with some your weekly dose of I Am Your Father. But this guy's heading out of town for a while, so we got to get ahead. So we're gonna skip the 10 and 20. We're just gonna cover one main topic and say goodbye.
Yeah, let's do it.
Auf Wiedersehen. Sayonara.
Sayonara. Adios.
That's right.
Until next time.
Yeah.
I will break down the topic real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
We are going to dive into our Pixar ranking, or actually it'll be a Pixar draft. We will be going back and forth like we have been recently, drafting our favorite Pixar movies, hopefully stealing from one another. Maybe it'll get juicy. Maybe we have completely different taste. I'm actually not sure at all. I'm really not sure how this is going to go, so I'm very curious, and I think it'll be exciting.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there's a handful that you're going to go after that I don't care about. And I have a feeling that I may have a strategy that is also not yours. So I'm feeling like this might work itself out better than, say, our last draft, where you stole a really great franchise flop from me. But, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And should we jump right in? Let's see. I got the first pick last time, so you're going to go first this time?
Yeah, I'll go first this time.
All right. So we're saying we're looking for we're drafting what will be the top 10 Pixar movies as agreed upon or disagreed upon by I'm Your Father, by yours truly.
Correct.
Yeah. So let's get going. Well, first off, should we do a little talk about Pixar just in general and just our high level thoughts on the studio, its place in animation, etc. Just to kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll just say this. I think for the longest time, Pixar was the main studio putting out great animated content. Although most of them would be considered kids' movies, I'd say they were putting out consistently really great content. And this has been for as long as I've been alive. I've just known Pixar, those are good movies, I will say lately, we've seen a little bit of a dip for whatever reason. There's several factors we can maybe talk about. But I think maybe for the first time, Pixar might be sweating a little bit because there's these other studios putting out really great animated content. And it kind of feels like a great time to be a fan of animation. And unfortunately, not much of that is coming from Pixar lately. So they got to, who knows how much longer they'll be king of the hill.
Yeah, it's the innovator's dilemma, as they say, right? I mean, Pixar really saved animation in large part in the late 90s and into the early 2000s and so on. I think Disney was in a huge slump. Disney, who was the king of animation at the time, was producing some pretty lackluster stuff repeatedly, and it was really Pixar that kind of like gave them a shot of adrenaline, inspired Disney to come back to the game and relaunch the sort of golden era of Disney with The Lion King and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid and all that. But I don't think that happens if Pixar doesn't give them a little kick in the booty,
Yeah, definitely.
And now maybe hopefully that'll happen with Pixar because when you innovate the way that Pixar did, it's really difficult to continue to be the person that's the most cutting edge, or the company that's the most cutting edge. So, the innovator's dilemma.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt that way for the longest time. Like they were putting out consistently innovative stuff, and then they kind of all just started to look the same, feel the same towards like the last 5 years, other than like maybe one or two standouts, And so I definitely agree there. And I'm pretty sure that one of the founders of Pixar moved on for one reason or another to found DreamWorks as well, which is for the longest time the competing studio when it comes to animation.
Not to found DreamWorks, but to join DreamWorks.
To join DreamWorks? Okay, yeah. That's what it is. And I'll have to say DreamWorks, until recently, was probably the only main competitor, at least mainstream competitor, other than maybe Studio Ghibli, which I haven't seen too many of their films, but I know they're very popular.
Well, and you've got, so the founders of DreamWorks were Spielberg, Katzenberg, and Geffen.
Okay.
And that's where the SKG comes from that you oftentimes see underneath the DreamWorks logo.
Okay.
But in terms of the animation studio itself, DreamWorks was there, but you've also got, what is it, Innovation Studios, right? Is that part of Universal? Is that
Illumination.
Is that the Minion? Illumination. And, obviously now Sony's doing some amazing work. There's a lot going on in animation right now. And
it's
we've
awesome.
also had a resurgence. Like, I feel like animation outside of the US was just still pretty niche in the 90s and 2000s, and now is it's pretty mainstream. I feel like
definitely
stuff coming out of Japan is obviously the most prominent example of that. But Japanese animation is fully mainstream at this point.
It's almost similar to how nowadays it's normal and cool to be a nerd. Like liking Star Wars 20 years ago didn't make you cool. Now if you don't like Star Wars, you're probably not cool. It's similar with animation. I feel it's much more acceptable these days for a grown man to throw on an animated movie or an animated show and not feel shame, like, I'm just sitting here watching cartoons,
A grown man. Isn't it great that we're all in touch with our masculinity again these days, and no one feels the need to be petty? I think it's great. I think we could all. You know what? I've said in the past that I have trouble taking animation seriously, and I feel like I need to fully embrace it. In fact, I think that the world needs more animation.
I think so too.
Let's all get in touch with our inner animator. All right, let's draft. Should we draft?
Let's draft.
All right, so you're going to take 1. We're going to snake draft. I'm going to go 2 and 3. You'll go 4 and 5, and so on till we get to 10. I can count, so can you.
Hopefully. I'm going to start off here, and I'm going to take the number 1 draft pick. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what my strategy is here. I know which ones I want, or at least which ones I would like to have, but I don't really know what you're going to go for. So
yeah,
I don't know that I'm going to go in like a super interesting order, or maybe I'll have some big surprises. Maybe I won't. I'm really not sure. But my number 1 draft pick Pixar movie is going to be The Incredibles.
Good choice. It was on my list. I'm bummed you got it.
Yeah, Incredibles is just phenomenal. I mentioned an episode or 2 ago how I grew up watching this movie. I absolutely loved this movie. Dash, I thought, was just the coolest character ever. I wanted to be him. It really is special. It's kind of the Fantastic Four, meets Pixar, but it's really funny. It holds up really well. Like, turn this movie on, and it's still just a really great time. I know people who constantly quote this movie. Like, people in my life still quote this movie to this day, just throwing out different lines like, fly home, buddy, I work alone, or I've still got time, just all these different things. Or where's my super suit? Super iconic. I love this movie. I think it's surprisingly deep, and it's just an absolute blast.
It really is. It's funny too until you repeated that line for half a second. As much as I love The Incredibles, for half a second I'd forgot about Samuel Jackson. I was running through the cast in my head, and I'd forgotten about just what an absolute scene stealer Samuel Jackson is throughout that whole film.
Oh, totally. Frozen comes out looking like the real hero.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He steals the movie. I agree. You know what? I think I would have probably taken Incredibles in your spot as well. So I can't fault your opinion. I am just a little bummed that you got it and I didn't.
As you should be. It's a tough loss for you and a good win for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so number 2 is going to me. I'm going to go out. I'm going to zag a little bit. Since you took my number 1, I'm going to grab my second favorite. Even though I think I probably could get this one in a later round. I feel like maybe it's not going to be.
To clarify, are you saying that Incredibles would have been your favorite?
Yeah, my Incredibles is my favorite Pixar film. Yes.
Okay, good to know. So now I'm definitely glad I grabbed it.
Yeah, no, you took it right. I would have taken it right now had you not. It would have been. It was top of my list.
Okay.
To take right now. So you took that. So now my second favorite Pixar film, though, I've done my research. I've tried to also think through what I think you're going to pick, and I kind of think you might not have taken this one, but I don't want to miss out. I don't want to lose both my first and second favorite Pixar movies. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this now just to make myself happy. I am taking Finding Nemo.
Okay.
I absolutely love Finding Nemo. I think it has so much heart. I think I've often told you the story, but I don't think that listeners of the podcast have heard this. But it was actually the first, your very first movie theater experience was Finding Nemo, and we did not see the movie. we walked into the film. Some trailer was playing that was loud and bright, and you started crying. You were very young. You were like 2 or something.
Yeah.
You weren't ready. You weren't ready for it, and you just said, something along the lines of "Take me home." And
probably after the barracuda ate all the eggs. And killed the mom.
I'm telling you, the film didn't even start. It was the trailers that scared you to death.
So it really wasn't my first movie in the theaters.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was the first movie I took you to see, but we didn't actually see it.
Yeah, I must have been 2 years old.
Yeah, something like that.
It came out in 2003, so...
Yeah, you were like 2.5, yeah. So, but I do have a really vivid memory, and I was so bummed because I wanted to have that experience with my son, and it didn't happen. So it was another, year or so before you were ready to actually see something. And I don't remember what that one was, though, but I will tell you this. I purposely took you late to skip the previews. I didn't want to. I didn't want a repeat. Anyway, let's get back to Finding Nemo.
At least you're adaptable.
Yeah. I love all things related to the ocean and fish already. So I'm kind of already in on the setting and the characters. But I just think that that this movie just has so much heart, and it's so funny. It's beautiful to me. I think there were aspects of what we saw in some earlier Pixar films that were just like awe-inspiring in terms of the technology of it. But for me, Finding Nemo was the first time they really made they took the technology and they turned it into a true work of visual art. It's just such a beautifully animated film. And the effects with water and the effects with the fish, I think they really just upped their game there. And I find it thoroughly enjoyable to watch constantly over and over again. And so I would say that it is my second favorite. Occasionally, maybe I push it into one spot. So Finding Nemo in the 2 slot. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's completely respectable. I'll be honest, it wasn't on my list, but as you're talking about it, I'm being reminded that it should have been on my list. I remember how much I love this movie. It really is. It's surprisingly really deep, and like you said, it's full of heart. Equally iconic in terms of different lines that are quoted all the day, like "Wake up, fishy," and "Fish are friends, not food."
Keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Yeah. He touched the butt. All. You're right. This is a great movie, and while it wasn't in my game plan, I kind of am a little annoyed that I think it kind of goes punch for punch with Incredibles.
Good. I'm glad I snuck a sleeper in. Like I said, I didn't think you were going to pick it, and I was right. You weren't.
You're
so
right.
I probably could have saved it for later, but I would have been really pissed at myself had I let this one go and tried to steal it in the late round, and then I was wrong, and you did grab it, so I got to take it.
Yeah, not gonna lie, talking about it is kind of making me want to turn it on when we're done recording.
Absolutely. It's so good, and it almost, in some ways, acts like a really great just like background noise too. It's one of those things where just like you're comfortable.
It sounds beautiful.
It sounds beautiful, and you've got just these friends that you just want to spend time with, and you're in your aquarium almost. It's like
that's a great take. Great
having
take.
a great aquarium at your house. All right, shall we go to 3?
Let's go to 3.
All right. I think 3 is probably a little less controversial of a pick, but I'm going to go with the first one. I'm going to go with the original granddaddy of Pixar films. I'm going to go with Toy Story. And there's a lot of talk about the sequels, and even 4 being the greatest Pixar movie of all time. I don't buy it. For me, it's all about the original. I think it's just a classically told story. Some really amazing performances by Tom Hanks and Tim Allen and so many others. And I think there's just something perfect about its simplicity and the original idea, the concept and the innovation that Pixar brought with that. I don't think you can, I say a lot when we're talking about certain things, I don't think you can discount how much it meant to cinema. Toy Story changed the game. Everything else that comes after it owes a debt to Toy Story. And that's why I'm putting it in the number 3 slot for our draft. Yeah,
that's a great pick. Again, not on my list because I think some of the other Toy Story movies may have even improved. But I will say this: I heard a story recently about the making of that movie, and how obviously we have the line early in the movie where Buzz really believes he can fly, and he goes to show everybody, and he gets extremely lucky, and he doesn't necessarily fly, but he doesn't fall on his face, and Woody says that wasn't flying, that was falling with style, right?
Yeah.
And so then they go their way through the movie. Towards the end of the movie, he's got the rocket strapped to his back. He's holding Woody. They're aiming for the truck, and it's this great moment where Woody opens his eyes and he laughs, and he's like, "Buzz, you're flying." And originally, what they had animated, because they had written, was Buzz's response was going to be, technically it's gliding, is what he was going to say. And it wasn't until they had fully animated everything, and they decided to go in and re-record and reanimate that scene, because somebody just threw out the line, well, no, you got to wrap it up and say he's falling with style. And it just is like a really nice bookend. So it's a last-minute change they made to this movie that kind of becomes almost... like the message of the movie, which I think is really interesting, that like last minute, such a crucial change was made. Almost similar to Endgame, where the very last scene that Robert Downey Jr. shot was the I Am Iron Man scene, where they were just, they couldn't figure out how to just quite get it right, and they finally landed on that. It's just a perfect bookend. They're almost exactly the same. It's really interesting.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm glad you brought that line up, because you know my affinity for Douglas Adams. Every time I hear that line, I think of a Douglas Adams quote about flying. It's a little different, but it reminds me. It's similarly ironic, and I just pulled it up so I didn't get it wrong. But Douglas Adams said that the knack to flying, the knack lies in learning how to throw yourself at the ground and miss.
Yeah, great line.
That's flying. So anyway, yeah, thanks. I think it's a good pick. I'm actually really surprised it wasn't on your list. So 2 in a row. My 2 and 3 picks were not on your list. I think that's really
it was on my list, but it would only be picked up later on if you took some of my others. Honestly,
fair enough.
But you're absolutely right. It's extremely iconic.
My you taking The Incredibles, which I should have seen coming, is definitely already throwing off my list a little bit. I definitely have to find a pivot here.
You gave me number 1 pick. You didn't even fight for it.
No, I know, because it was in order. It was the right thing to do.
Did you anticipate?
Honorable.
Did you anticipate me taking Incredibles?
I did. Not at the 1 spot. I legitimately thought you would not take it in the 1 slot. There was another one, which I'm not going to say just in case, but there was another film I was pretty sure you were going to take in the 1 slot, and I don't want to spoil it. I'll let you know later if it happens or doesn't happen.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if you'll see my number 2 coming, my 4th round draft pick. And I don't know if it's controversial or not. This movie is very special to me specifically. Okay. And so because it's so important to me, I have to take in my 4th round Ratatouille.
Oh, okay.
Bit of a sleeper, I think. Maybe not expected. And I would even say the first several times I saw this movie, I don't know that I particularly enjoyed it way more than any other Pixar movies. But Ratatouille was the movie that Nat and I watched together the night that she finally agreed to be my girlfriend, and now we rewatch it every so often because I had to convince her for a little while. She wasn't super on board at first, and then finally it happened, and Ratatouille was there that night. We love that movie. I think it's just hilarious. I love the themes of dealing with, bigotry and all these different things. Obviously, in a way that a child can understand, where they're rats, right? Nobody wants rats touching their food. But Remy is different, and he can prove that they're not just these dirty creatures, and the ones who are can change, and all these different things. I think the critic, who is just has become so cold-hearted and just stony, eating a meal that transported him back to his childhood and essentially healed him, I think is just super profound, because I really believe that is a really, really real thing that can happen. A lot of like our trauma, a lot of our issues in life can usually be resolved by going back and dealing with something way back then, or being reminded how we used to be. And I just really love this movie. I think it is extremely charming. Every time I watch it, it makes me want to go to Paris just so bad. The food looks super delicious. The characters are hilarious. And Remy is just the cutest little guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hot take. Paris, not bad. Not bad.
Not bad?
Pretty good. Pretty
It's
good place to be.
piping hot take.
Yeah. Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth it, maybe.
How do you feel about Ratatouille?
It's really interesting that you brought this up, because I actually feel the exact same way that you did upon your first viewing or two. Like, I appreciate it. It's never been one that I revisit frequently, and I know that it's special to you. It actually was the film I thought you were going to take first, so you jumped in right away and got that. But I thought you'd take it first for sentimental reasons. I have heard you tell this story to me about Ratatouille, so I thought you were going to take it first. It's never been one of my favorites, but I really appreciate the sentimental importance that it has to you, and I appreciate the quality of the story. I know many people love it much more than I do, and I probably just need to watch it a couple more times, or even just one more time. It's probably been a solid decade since I've seen this film.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to make a quick executive decision and say, although we had no homework planned for these mini episodes, let's, for each of these episodes, give each other one assignment to get to over the next couple weeks. And then when I'm back, 3 or 4 episodes later from time of recording, we can hit all of the homework we hit in the meantime.
Are you giving me Ratatouille?
I think you should revisit
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
I know you've seen it, but we're going to revisit it.
We'll see. What I'm inspired to assign to you as we get through this.
Sounds great. All right, it's time for my
number 4. Solid number 4 pick. Yeah.
It is. I think I have my 5 locked in. I'm looking at a few. I'm not sure what you're going to take, so it's tricky. But
there's one that I'm really nervous you're going to take.
Now I want to take it. I want to take it.
I know you do, but I'm not telling you what it is.
I know you're not. I don't think it's this.
Okay.
But I have to take this just in case.
Okay.
In my 5 slot, I'm going to take a more recent Pixar movie. It's from the latter half of their catalog. And that's going to be Inside Out. I am...
Interestingly, even in preamble, not what I thought you were going to say. Like, as you were setting it up, I was like, oh, okay, I know what wasn't it? Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
I am a big fan of Inside Out. I really am. I think similar to how we touched on the genius concept of Toy Story, I think Inside Out has a similarly extremely interesting and genius concept as well in terms of dealing with emotions and how Pixar is able to animate that and put it into physical form. We are given these physical embodiments of each emotion, and they act and appear to be whatever emotion they embody. I love the way that we handle the memories and the orbs and how they go. You have your deep memory, and then you have your forgotten memories, and you have your subconscious, and you have your core memories. And I remember this was actually the first time like I ever heard the concept of core memories. And to this day, I usually I will bring up that's a core memory right there. Or one of my core memories is this. And that's a term that I got from this movie. I love that she has these different islands that are a major part of her personality. Right. And I love the memes that have followed. Like, I see memes all the time where someone will post a picture of their island and it's just Spider-Man, or it's just Star Wars, or it's just the gym, but I love that she has, hockey, and she has friends, but then she has these other memories that are a little more complicated, as we learn in this movie, because at first they're all just one emotion. As a child, you're really only able to feel one emotion at a time: joy, sadness, disgust when you're eating vegetables or whatever. But I love that as she begins to go through puberty and she begins to grow up, the first time they discover this emotion or this memory, that is not just one emotion. It's a mixture between joy and sadness. And they kind of freak out. They have no idea what to do. This is completely foreign concept.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, all of her core memories at this point are only joyful memories. And I love this journey that Joy, the character, goes through. Deeper understanding Riley and having to accept the fact that as you grow up, not all of your memories can be joy. And not all of your memories are going to only be one thing. A memory can be filled with different emotions. Like as you are moving off to college, this is a joyful memory, and sad as you're leaving your family, and all these different things. And I love the concept also that not all of your core memories are going to be just joy. You have things that shape who you are, and it's not always going to come from the happiest moments of your life. I think these are all really incredible things. I think it's a really fun arc for Joy to have to go on in understanding what's best for Riley and realizing that sadness is not just ruining everything, but is actually an important part of Riley's life. And lastly, I think the way that they deal with Riley's imaginary friend growing up, Bing Bong, and how ultimately he becomes forgotten, that whole scene to this day brings me to tears. I don't remember having an imaginary friend, so it's not like I'm deeply relating to it, but the way that they do it is just so incredible and so impactful. You feel Riley growing up and all the complexity that comes with that, and I just think it is extremely deep, extremely intelligent, and really important. I think if people are able to look at certain things that they feel through this lens, like if they can project it onto something that they can see, I think it could be really helpful.
Yeah. That was
I ranted.
A really well thought out rant, though. I appreciate it. I'm going to say Inside Out was not on my list. It doesn't crack the top 5 for me. I know I feel like it's one of the most popular Pixar movies of the last, well, it's probably been more than a decade. I was going to say a decade, but I think it's probably been longer than that since it came out. When did it come out again?
Stand by. I'll get that for you.
Okay. All right. And I thought it was good. Honestly though, this is another one of those even more so oddly to me than Ratatouille is, that, everyone around me loved it and I just thought it was fine.
Really?
And honestly, I found your, in a lot of ways, I found your rant and your connection to the film more compelling than the film itself. And
you have daughters.
I know I do. But yeah, I mean, I think it was fine. I think what I think it was too. I think that there's aspects of the animation style that wasn't my favorite.
Really?
I'm going to say, yeah, it was just okay to me. I respect your choice, but it's not my Pixar.
All right. That's a horrible take, but I'll give it to you. And just for the record, it came out a decade ago, 2015.
Okay. I was going to say it, but and I think it's pretty fair to say though that it might be the most popular Pixar film of the last 10 years or so, right? I mean, I think in terms of overall, I know there were a couple others that popped. Again, I don't want to say them because they could still come up in the draft, but
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. In the last 10 years, while it's definitely not the only good one or the only well beloved, it is, I would have to say, probably the most
beloved,
important
right?
one. Yeah.
I think so. Okay, fair enough. All right, so we're through 5. I have 6 and 7 coming up.
You have 6
now,
and 7,
right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so for 6 for me, this is an easy choice. I'm actually really surprised it didn't come up earlier. It didn't come up earlier. I'm taking Up. I think Up is just a really fantastic film, and it's Pixar just telling us we've done these kids movies. But we want you to know that we can make a fully realized adult concept movie and just punch you in the gut and just wrench your heart out and still somehow be funny at times too. I mean, probably the line from any Pixar movie that I quote more than anything else is from Up, and that is just simply squirrel.
Squirrel.
Not
adventurers out there.
No, it's fine. But I just love squirrel. Squirrel. That I forget the dog's name honestly, but
Doug.
Doug
the dog.
Right. That's right. How did I forget that? That's so funny. Just how simple his name is. I love this movie, and it just breaks your heart, and it's so good and it's so beautiful. To me, this should have been like Best Picture. Like this is
really.
I think they upped the game so dramatically with this one. Actually making it in many ways, like I said, a drama. So I think Up is the right choice. This is the one I thought you would probably go for earlier on the list, and I'm really surprised you didn't.
Well, here's what I'll say is I have to agree with you. The first 5 minutes of that movie, like as a short film, just devastating. There never a dry eye during the first 5 minutes of that movie. And if your eyes are dry, I mean, your heart is just stone. There's no way around it. If you want to test for psychopaths, just play the first 5 minutes of Up and watch their face.
See if you get no reaction.
Yeah. So I will absolutely give you that. And Carl dealing with the death of his wife, Ellie, and dealing with the grief of, he's old now, right? He's gone through life for a little while without her. And him dealing with that grief is really profound. And even coming to terms or coming to appreciate the boy, I think his name is Russell, who has who has similar chaotic energy as his wife did when they were younger. Seeing him very turned off to it at first, very frustrated by it at first, and then slowly embracing it and appreciating it it's really beautiful. And so I will give you all that, but here's my hot take.
Okay.
I think beyond the first 5 minutes, the movie is mostly just good. And the ending starts to lose me a little bit when we have a literal dogfight. We have these dogs flying planes. Like the whole climax of the movie is the two old men fighting on the blimp and hanging out, and dogs flying around in planes, shooting everything. It's just a little too goofy for me. But the movie is full of a lot of heart and a lot of really funny moments. Like you mentioned, Doug is hilarious. Russell is also pretty dang funny. So while I really like this movie, it's not in my top 5.
Fair enough. Well, I'm glad it's on my list then.
Yep. There you go. You took it.
Yeah.
Uncontested.
Uncontested. All right. I have a feeling that my next choice is going to be uncontested as well. But I have,
but that's not good for content.
I know. Well, if we argue, you could just think it shouldn't be on the list at all. But we'll see. Okay. So for 7, I am going to take a sentimental favorite and one that I see as part of a quadrant of films that I absolutely love. The other 3 of which are not Pixar films, but I'll walk you through the.
I already know what you're going to say,
journey,
and I'm bummed.
I'm taking A Bug's Life, and I really love this film because of a lot of reasons. I'm a big Dave Foley fan. I think that Spacey makes a pretty damn good villain in more ways than one, and he's really frightening at times. Like this one also, when like the first time you watched this as a little kid, like I think Hopper scared the crap out of you.
Oh yeah, he's scary. And his rabid beast.
Yeah. But the pathway here is if you there's a direct line between Kurosawa's Seven Samurai and A Bug's Life, and that goes from Kurosawa's Seven Samurai to John Sturgis's The Magnificent Seven to the Three Amigos, which I believe is John Landis, and then to A Bug's Life. So basically you have this masterpiece in Kurosawa doing the Seven Samurai. John Sturges and company adapt this film for the American audiences, and they turn this into a Western instead of a samurai picture. And so you basically have this Americanized version of the Seven Samurai with the Magnificent Seven. Years later, the Three Amigos comes by, and they basically they create a spoof version of the Magnificent Seven, and instead of these true gunslingers, you've got these Hollywood actors who are mistaken as gunslingers. So it's the Magnificent Seven meets a mistaken identity story. And then Pixar comes through and does the animated insect version of the Three Amigos with A Bug's Life. And so to me, it's just this amazing 4-picture combination that I love to watch. I wouldn't say once a year, but I would say probably about every other year, I actually just plow through all 4 of those in succession.
Really?
And and it's great. I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's a lot of fun. And I don't even know if you've seen all of those movies. I know you've seen at least 3 of them. I don't know if you've gone back as far as The Seven Samurai yet.
I have not gone back that far yet, but it is on the to-do list.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my pick. I'm curious to know your thoughts about where this sits. It's going to be our number 7 out of 10 here. And see, I think a lot of people would not have this in their top 10, but I just really love A Bug's Life, and I go back to it a lot. And I think,
well, mind you, it's in your top 5.
It's in my top 5. Yes. As we're drafting, though, it's in the number 7 slot.
Yeah. I will say it was a potential 5 pick for me, or a 10th round pick for me, or I guess 9 would be where I would take it. It was a potential, an alternate maybe. Yeah, it's really good. I quote this one quite a bit also. I really love the score of this movie. It's also one of those movies that you could kind of have on in the background, and just feel good. My wife really loves this movie. Her and her brother used to play ants when they were kids, and they would just act like the ants. They would walk around with stuff on their back, and that was literally what they would play.
They had aphid. They had pet aphid.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I don't know if it'll win you the game. That you tend to get a little sentimental, but I think I can pull this one out.
That's what we old guys do. We get a little sentimental at times,
Yeah, it'll be your downfall.
Sentimentality leads to fear.
And fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side.
Yeah. What can you do? All right.
Yeah, I'm next.
You are next.
I've
the number
got
8 slot. This will be your 4th, right?
It'll be my 4th, and again,
okay.
I'm not sure if you're gonna take this. This is again on the more recent half of Pixar's catalog. Oh man, I'm struggling here. I'm trying hard to decide between 2. You know what?
I don't yet.
You know what? I'm gonna switch it up a little bit because I think I might be safe to take this one in the last round. Oh, I get 2 in a row. Okay. Let's go.
You get 2 in a row. Yeah.
I am tripping. What am I doing? All right. So in the 8th slot, I'm gonna take Coco. I'll be honest. When this movie first came out, I didn't have much interest in it. It was out for a little while. People said it was great. Didn't really grasp my my intrigue, but when I finally sat down and watched this movie, it might have been because Nat made me. I can't remember. I think it might have been. She sat
you down on the couch and cuffed you to the chairs.
Pretty much.
Made you watch this thing.
Man, similar to Up, I was just a wreck by the end of this movie. I was just tears streaming down my face. It's really such a great movie. It's one of, I think, maybe the only Pixar movie to be a musical. You can maybe, other than maybe Soul, now I think Soul might also, you might consider a musical, but at the time it was the only musical for Pixar so far.
We've also had Encanto.
Not Pixar.
That's a musical, right? Is that not Pixar? Oh, that's Disney, isn't it?
It's just Disney, right. which is
Disney
a little
looking
surprising.
like Pixar. Yeah,
exactly.
Encanto.
I think Coco is an absolutely beautiful story. I think visually it's stunning. The Mexican heritage, the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. It's all so beautiful. The colors, they're so vibrant. The way they pop. The tradition, it's just absolutely gorgeous all the way through. This movie is one of the best looking Pixar movies, easily. Our main character, I think his name, if I'm remembering correctly, is Miguel. Absolutely adorable kid, and his passion for playing the guitar and making music when his whole family makes shoes is really interesting. It's nothing that we've never seen before, you know, a kid trying to be forced into a specific profession when he has a passion for something else. So it's not necessarily groundbreaking in that sense, but what is revolutionary is the way they go about it, the way he is also searching for his dad in the afterlife. And he thinks he knows who his dad is. He thinks he's this famous musician. He looks up to him. He loves him. And spoiler alert, by the end of the movie, we learn that not only is that guy not his dad, he's actually a horrible jerk. And his real dad is the guy, the not as cool, the kind of loser, but the guy who's been on this journey with him the whole time, who he's become great friends with. And it's really just this beautiful story of this son becoming close with his father without even really knowing it until the end. And then by the end, when Grandma Coco dies, I mean, it's horrible. I don't recommend watching it because you're going to cry. It's just hard to get through, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The music is really fun. We play some of the songs from this movie pretty often. As we're driving, we get super hype. We quote it all the time. I really love this movie. I wish I had watched it sooner. I think it's not appreciated enough in this Pixar conversation.
I agree. It's underrated.
It definitely, and I honestly think it's because not as many people have seen it. Honestly, I think it's just not talked about. There's no way you've seen this movie and don't like have a deep appreciation for it, even if it's not in your top 5. Like, it's an incredible movie.
Yeah. Great choice. You stole that one from me. It was my next choice.
Let's go.
Well, like I said, I got sucker punched by some sentimentality, as you correctly pointed out, and I should have taken this one earlier on. But I grabbed a few. That I love. Don't get me wrong. But this is a great choice. I really don't have anything else to add to what you said. I think you nailed it. I think it's cultural significance, the way that it honors the Mexican culture and Mexican heritage. The music is amazing. I think it's arguably the most beautiful animation that Pixar's ever put out, to me, since Nemo. Honestly, I think everything I said about Nemo and the underwater nature of what they bring to the table. I think Coco is to me the next holder of the belt. I think it takes the belt from Nemo in terms of beauty. So absolutely fantastic choice, and
thank you.
Darn it for taking that from me.
So on my last pick, I'm struggling because there's 2 movies I have in mind, and one of them is I really like them both. One of them is much more widely accepted as one of the best Pixar movies. And the other one is, funny enough, widely considered one of the worst. But I really like it. And so I kind of want to throw that in there, although I think it might hurt my list ultimately if we're having viewers vote on it. I think I have to be true to myself. And I'm going to throw out, for my 9th round draft pick, I'm going to throw out Monsters University.
Ooh.
Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming.
There's so much that we're going to be leaving on the table now with Monsters University.
There is.
In this list.
And by that you mean
not even
one
Monsters
more
Inc.
movie.
Not even Monsters Inc.
Listen,
this is your last choice.
I might like Monsters Inc. more, but Monsters University underappreciated severely. Like you said, this movie I could just throw on. It's excellent background vibes. When you are watching it, it's just a good time. It's pretty unproblematic. Like, the whole movie is just fun. There's enough tension and stress, as there are several objectives and characters being treated poorly and injustices happening. There's enough of that in there to keep the movie going and not just being a hangout movie, you know? And ultimately, by the end, I think it's really interesting. We have Mike Wazowski as a bright-eyed, young, unscary monster who wants to be the best scarer on the scare floor. He is completely unintimidating and ridiculous looking, but he knows his stuff. He knows everything there is to know about how to do it, all the different tactics. He's basically Hermione, right? He put in the work. He knows everything. And then you have Sully, just kind of waltz into this classroom as this big, scary-looking monster, even though he's turquoise and purple. But he's this big old guy, and he just comes in. He doesn't give a rat's ass about anything, but he's just going to do his same roar over and over again, and it's going to work 10 times better than Mike. And it feels like this big injustice. It's hard to watch because you have this one guy who doesn't care as much other than he just wants to, make his family proud. But then you have Mike who wants this with all of his heart since he was a kid, and he's putting in the work. And ultimately, by the time the movie comes to an end, well, in between, they kind of are forced to team up. They have to team up. They have to work together, and they create this bond. They start to accept these things about each other. But by the time the movie's over, Mike has to accept the fact that it's just not for him. No matter how much he knows, he's just not scary. And there's even a few things that happen in between then that we don't need to get into. But ultimately, he's not scary. And it's a really hard pill to swallow. And it's his life's dream coming to an end. And it's really unfortunate. But the final resolution being that Mike and Sully are in a situation where the only way to get out is to scare these humans. They have to scare these cops, basically, to get back to the door in time. Mm-hmm. And they realize that the actual solution here is combining, Sully's actual size and ferociousness and intimidation with Mike's knowledge. And so Mike basically sets it all up. He's the guy in the corner. He's the man in the chair. And Sully's acting through him. And they have this great moment where they realized that individually, they're not much, but together as a team, they're the best. It's really great. Ultimately, Mike accepts this. He finds a passion for being on Sully's team. He realizes that he's still doing the work, just not the way he always thought he would. And I think it's interesting. I think as a theme of sometimes having to let your dreams go, it's a tough pill to swallow, but maybe finding something still in that avenue that still brings you the same joy, just not quite the path you thought you were going to go down. I think it's pretty profound. I think this movie's super slept on, and I think it's really, just really fun. It's a really funny and fun movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, anybody that hasn't seen it no longer needs to.
There you go.
These mini episodes are not going to be all mini. If you're talking for 5 minutes about each choice, man, we got summer. I'm just kidding.
All right. Sorry. I'll shut up.
No. I get it. It sounds like you really love this movie a lot, and much more than I would have anticipated, and you've given it some good thought. So it seems like nothing that I can or should add to this point, other than I think that it was an out of left field choice, in my opinion. Okay, now we're down to the final, number 10, and it's mine. And I have to say that I'm a bit stumped because all of my top choices have been taken, and so. And I,
which they would have been what? You want to recap what your perfect five would have been?
So the two of mine that you took that would have got me there were Coco and Incredibles. So yeah, I had Incredibles, Nemo, Coco, Toy Story, Up, and Bug's Life. Those were my top choices.
Your solid 6. Okay.
Yeah. And so you took 2 of those, and I'm down now. I guess I should have. I thought for sure you'd get one of those, and it was Coco that I was pretty sure you were going to take. And I guess I kind of just forgot. I slept on The Incredibles. Okay. So I'm looking at the list here of what's remaining, and I feel like I'm going to go out on a limb too and choose one that I really like a lot, but I'm going to let everybody watch it. I'm not going to give you a full synopsis.
Can we just assume that people have seen Pixar movies? I mean, we don't need to skirt around plots. And once you say the movie, if they haven't seen it, they can just click off. I think you should break down what you like about the movie.
No, I know.
You can't appreciate the plot, shade.
All right. I'm going to go with Brave.
Ooh, as bad choice. Bad choice.
No, I like this movie. I think it's slept on. I think it's not appreciated enough. I have so much fun with this movie every time I watch it. I think it really feels like Pixar doing something that they haven't done before, and I really appreciate the the female protagonist. I think it might have been the first time they did a female protagonist in Pixar. I like this film a lot. I think it really. I love all the Scottish actors that come in to lend their talent to this film. I think it's also beautifully animated, and I have a lot of fun. I just think it's a really great time to watch. So I have no problem putting it in my top 5 and in the number 10 slot. You think it's a bad choice, so it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some others that deserve to be in there more, but I agree. I think it's a good movie. I love anything Scotland, obviously. I love the scene where she shoots for her own hand. Really great scene. I quote it all the time. I'll be fighting for my own hand. But I think for me, it's one of the Pixar movies that kind of lulls in the middle. I think the second act is pretty weak in comparison to the first and third act, and so for me, I think it takes away a little bit. But again, it's a great concept. It is beautifully animated. It's a beautiful looking movie, and it has some really fun characters in the father and the sons, and the mother. And Merida, obviously.
I mean, I think Disney, with this movie, Pixar takes the concept of the Disney princess and they flip it on its head, and they give us a really strong female princess who doesn't need to be rescued, who's not a damsel in distress, who's not the titular or orphaned child or any of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, it's very much this really strong individual, and I think it reverberates through the rest of what Disney tries to do in years to come in response to this film. So I think
it
it's
definitely
really
was one of the first movies to do this, right?
Yeah,
because we've seen a trend of it now, but this definitely was blazing the trail.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, as you mentioned earlier, that me not liking Inside Out was odd because, I have 2 daughters that I've been raising, but I think this is the film to me that sort of resonated with the types of young women I'm hoping to bring up in this world, and I think maybe did. So,
Wonderful.
Anyway, so number 10. Yeah.
Well, that's a good 5. I think my 5 are better. I think I'll win. I'm gonna throw these up for people to vote on, our few followers.
Fair enough.
But I'll recap our list real quick. Cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it. Yep.
All right. In our Pixar movie draft, I got the first pick. In round 1, I took The Incredibles. I mean, I don't need to say much about that. Obviously, it's incredible. In round 2, you took Finding Nemo. You claimed it's one of the most beautiful and full of heart Pixar movies. I have to agree with you there. In round 3, because we're doing a snake draft, you took Toy Story, the first, the genesis of Pixar,
OG.
The OG. We talked about Falling with Style, another great choice. In round 4, I took Ratatouille, a very important movie to me. I think it's wonderful animation, wonderful storytelling, and deeper themes than you might think. In round 5, I went ahead and took Inside Out. I talked about 10 minutes after that about how good this movie was and how everybody needs to watch this movie to understand themselves a little more. In round 6, you took Up. We talked about the first 5 minutes. We talked about Carl's grief. This is just gut-wrenching stuff and animation
Squirrel.
that adults can appreciate and say squirrel all the time. In round 7, you took a bad choice, Bug's Life. I'm just kidding. It's a great movie. It's obviously a classic. In round 8,
Matt,
I took Coco.
Slap him around for that one.
In round 8, I took Coco. Beautiful, beautiful movie. Another movie full of tears. If you're not crying by the end of this movie, there's something wrong with you.
An excellent choice, and I think a surprisingly low on the list.
Yes,
in hindsight.
Agreed. In 9, I took a sleeper pick. I'm going to get hate for it. I already know. Monsters University. Again, so much better than it's ever given credit for. A story of having to let your dreams go and adapting and choosing to find happiness in where you do end up. It's really important. And in round 10, you took Brave. You're very proud of how you raised your daughters based on this movie, and that's
right.
a good role model for them. I have to agree with you, and that is our Pixar draft today.
A solid list.
It's a solid list. Very solid list.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Hopefully we can capture, or we can do a better job on these mini episodes. We're pushing the 1 hour mark on our mini episode, but
well, this doesn't have to be mini.
You guys should follow along on the list and let us know your thoughts on who won the draft, as well
Before
as
we finish up too,
that we missed.
Before we finish up,
okay.
Your homework is Ratatouille. Okay, revisit it.
Okay,
you can go ahead and throw me one from your list if you would like. We can both revisit a Pixar movie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you need to rewatch A Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life. Man, I was hoping you'd say Finding Nemo.
No. You're going to do that anyway. I'm going to give you A Bug's Life, but I kind of actually, instead of A Bug's Life, I really kind of want to have you watch Seven Samurai and then A Bug's Life. And
you can't give me two homeworks.
Well, you're going to be traveling. You're going to need to download some stuff.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good choice. Yeah. So let us know which ones you think we missed and how we did. And I'll be rewatching Ratatouille this week, and Braden will watch The Seven Samurai, The Magnificent Seven, The Three Amigos, and A Bug's Life.
My Lord.
Yes, the quadfecta. So we drafted, we debated, we disagreed, though not about who shot first. It's all just another day in the galaxy.
So whether you're Gen X, Gen Z, or somewhere lost in the timeline, please continue to listen, like, share, and subscribe to I Am Your Father.
And until the next episode, remember that with great power comes a great second breakfast. The winter is also coming. So may the force live long and prosper with you.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep